Huge updates in the morning session of week 2 of the Tory Lanez trial. The one independent witness, the homeowner who was at the house right in front of this shooting, will testify this afternoon. The defense is calling him as a witness. The prosecution didn't call him. That's a shame. Number 2, the judge allowed rap lyrics into evidence. That's a huge shame. Let me tell you, not just did they let the rap lyrics come in, the rapper is not even here. They're using a rap song allegedly done by Kelsey. Kelsey is not here to testify about the lyrics. Instead, the judge allowed an investigator to say, I heard the song, this is what it says, here's evidence for this case. Unbelievable. The only thing more shameful was the prosecution's presentation of the rap lyrics using one of their investigators. Let me show you how that went down. Let me tell you what this investigator did on the stand today. And somebody call the governor, because first off, the rap lyrics should never have been used. And this investigator should, let me tell you, listen to this. It's absurd. So then the prosecutor says, hey, in this song, doesn't it say, isn't this Kelsey rapping that, oh, I didn't shoot you should clear my name? And the investigator's like, yes. Okay, defense goes up. Hey, in this song, doesn't Kelsey also rap about Meg is lying to the DA and Meg is lying to her manager, and that her manager, somebody named Dez, is making threats on Kelsey? And the investigator's like, no, I don't know. Can you show me, playing dumb? And the guy's like, wait, didn't you come here to testify about what this song says, but you can't answer any of my questions on the stuff that doesn't fit your narrative, basically? So the prosecutor comes back on and says, hey, wait, but all that stuff about lying, there's only one mention of lying with the DA, isn't there? And so this investigator is like, yeah, there's only one. Okay, now the defense goes on. Hey, wait, I just asked you, can you tell me about all the other mentions of lying? You said you don't know, you have to review the whole song. But when the prosecutor came up and asked you to confirm there's just one, you just jumped out of your seat and were like, yes. How does all your memory come back about the song when the prosecutor asks you questions, but you know nothing when I ask you? A very, very fair point from the defense. Look, we'll see what the eyewitness has to say, but like I said, somebody call the governor. Using rap lyrics of the defendant, where the defendant can actually defend himself against the lyrics, is one thing. Using the rap lyrics of another rapper, where that rapper is actually in court and you can ask him questions about what the song is after the prosecution uses it, is another thing. Using rap lyrics about a song that we don't even know who wrote it, who's singing it, some investigator says they found it on the internet, is a whole other thing. And then when that investigator decides to have selective memory, just like Meg and Kelsey, whenever the defense asks them a question about a song that their sole job, the only reason they're here is to listen to that song, come to court and testify it, but you don't remember a single line about, oh, I'm lying, about, oh, managers are threatening me, about, you don't remember any of the stuff. That's a neutral investigation. That's what's going on, California. Get out. Here's your Monday update. Prosecutors just tried to charge Tory with 2 new felony counts of intimidating a witness. 1 for intimidating Meg, 2 for intimidating Kelsey. They want these charges added to the criminal complaint, and they want these charges to go to the jury at this trial. The judge said, what? Hold up now. We just finished pretty much all the testimony. By the way, there's about 1 day of testimony left, maybe 2. And you guys want to add 2 new counts for what? Based on what? How long have you had this information? They said, well, we know that he's been threatening to pay them $1 million, and we had that information a while ago, but we didn't know how they were going to testify. The judge said, no, that's not how this works. You cannot add these charges to this trial right now. It would be so unfair to the jury to hear, to the defendant to hear that this is what you're trying to do. So the judge denied it. If they want to charge him with intimidating a witness, they can do that with a separate case. It's not going to happen on this case. As to the rest of the trial, testimony will conclude probably tomorrow, maybe the day after. Closing statements coming on Wednesday or Thursday. We should get a verdict. I don't know how long it's going to take the jury, but this is going to be given to the jury by Thursday or Friday. More updates to come. Wow. I think this is good tea. I don't think the internet has seen this at all. This is the best tea. Tory and Meg did not have like a one-time thing, or wasn't like slight. No, they were, all right, so this is what EJ testified, that during quarantine, these two basically booed up. And during quarantine, they stayed together a lot. They hung out together a lot. They traveled together. EJ said that he saw or dropped off Meg with Tory on at least 10 occasions, and that in general, that in quarantine, when people were picking up little groups and who they're going to hang out with and who their circle was going to be, Meg and Tory and their little circles were basically quarantine buddies, taking trips together, hanging out together. Listen, don't let anybody ever tell you that there was no relationship there or that it was a minor thing. Better than TV. Hollywood writers can't make this stuff up. Wait until you hear what the eyewitness testimony was this morning at the Tory Lanez trial. They asked Mr. Kelly, do you know why you're here? He said, absolutely. The defense attorney put up a picture of the back of his home. You could see a driveway. They had him draw a square where the SUV was parked. It was right on the curb of the back of his house, 10, 15 feet. His window is overlooking it. He stepped out onto his Juliet balcony and he watched for several minutes as Meg Thee Stallion and Kelsey, the two females, he didn't identify them by name, got out of the car and they were engaged in a fight. It was violent. It was quite aggressive. It started with arguing that woke him up in the middle of the night. Where his house is, often him and his son are woken up in the middle of the night by people who stop in and around the back of his home. This was another night, arguing, escalation, two women fighting. He watched the whole thing while standing on his balcony. Oh my God, it gets crazier. As he looked down on a fight that he described as quite violent, he then saw the larger gentleman, this is presumably the security guard Quan, come and violently try to separate them. Eventually, all four were involved in what he called an aggressive, everyone fighting, essentially just a melee, a free-for-all between four people in the middle of the night, right outside of his back window. He said at one point he saw one woman go back towards into the car. At that point, he saw a muzzle flash. Then he said there was a man, and after the first few shots from the woman came off, he saw the man getting involved with the woman and more shots went off. On cross-examination, the prosecutor asked him, did you see the man shoot? He said, yes, I saw the shorter man with a gun shooting violently in the air at least 5 times. Okay, wait, what? That's not what you just testified. Then the defense attorney went back and asked him, I thought you said you saw the woman and then you saw the man shoot. And he's like, yeah, you have to understand, it was just a crazy free-for-all and it all happened very quickly. And then he said the most shocking thing that has come out in this case, which is that after the shots went off, one woman crawled further away, that the 3 people then went over there and beat her violently while she was on the ground. They picked her up. They looked like they were going to drag her and throw her into the river. Instead, they dragged her across the street, put her in the car, and drove off. The prosecution, we're on lunch, the prosecution is going to come back and basically they're trying to build the case that this witness is lying because he's intimidated by the defense, that he never said anything about the muzzle flash going off near Kelsey, and now he's saying all this because he's scared of telling the truth. We'll see how that comes out on direct. Here's a fact though. He has been consistent about a couple things. One, the 2 women were outside that car fighting for several minutes. Escalated, started with an argument, then it got quite violent and the security guard came out to try to separate them. The idea that the jury would credit Meg's testimony, which is just completely contradicted by this eyewitness, is highly unlikely. The prosecution has major work to do to save their case, which is absolutely on life support right now.